This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern on the X-Zone Broadcast Network and our growing family of broadcast affiliates right around the world. Our website is www.xzoneradiotv.com on all social media sites. One simple address, X-Zone Radio TV. And my website, my email address, if you'd like to send me an email, show idea, guest idea, or you'd just like to ask us a question here at the X-Zone, just send an email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. My first guest tonight, X-Zone Nation, is Robert Brenner. He is an engineer, amateur scientist, college professor, historical genealogist, and a professional speaker with an extensive experience in research and information publishing. A retired naval officer with a distinguished service in both nuclear submarines and microelectronic research and development. He holds a bachelor's degree and 2 master's degrees. He is recognized by the Department of Defense as a pioneer in a very high-speed integrated circuit research and development. Now, he's the author of 51 books, including Small Guide to Pricing, Pricing Web Services, Pricing Tactics, and many other ones. But we're going to be talking to Robert today about something that, well, it's one of my favorite topics. And we're going to be talking to Robert about the supernatural and strange happenings in the Bible, an engineer's study of the Scripture. And Robert's website is www.brennerbooks.com. And Robert, welcome to the X-Zone.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right, Robert, what is your interest in the paranormal when it comes to the Bible?
Trying to understand what is really in the Bible, and this all began back after the 9/11 when the nation was attacked by the terrorists and we lost so many people, and I was trying to understand why there's so much tragedy out there. My mother was living in Michigan and was in an assisted living apartment after my dad had died and graduated out of this life, and then she moved into a senior care facility. And as a Christian lady and interested in me and my writing, even though I was writing books about pricing, she asked me to start writing books about the Bible, things that interested her, and things like giants and dragons and demons and supernatural powers. And these articles were really popular with the people at the center, and each time an article would arrive, the nurses would read it to all the residents there, and more people began encouraging me to write a book. And so here I am out in California. I'm running my own small research and information publishing company, and then the bottom falls out of the economy in 2007, 2008, and we had the Great Recession. And my buyers of pricing books were less interested in pricing and more interested in survival for their businesses, and many of them actually didn't survive. So what happened is my sales of pricing information dropped off by 50% in just 2 months and never did recover, so I started looking for another genre of books to write. And about this time, a minister and 2 business owners challenged me. They said, do research in the Bible and find out every instance, an event that relates to something supernatural or paranormal. And since my pricing information books weren't selling real well, I decided to go off on that. So I put my energy into research, began reading the Bible in interest. And anything that's supernatural, I look for through a number of translations of the Bible. And I was on a vertical learning curve that gave me a whole new perspective of Bible history. Here's an engineer studying a book on Scripture, a guy who's trained to analyze, hypothesize, and develop criteria for testing and all the scientific method. But the analysis of the Bible often relies on historical records with interpretations based on the perceptions of the writer and archaeological evidence whose origin may be called into question. And so what I decided to do is I would analyze the Bible with an open mind. I would view it through the eyes of a technically trained and skilled professional and just carefully read and capture the descriptions of what had happened. I didn't intend to challenge or analyze how some of the incidents could occur. I just wanted to identify the supernatural and strange things that are recorded in Scripture and soon assume that all things are possible. And so I embarked on this program of intense research and study. It's been an amazing journey for me. And actually, the Bible, to me, I have a colloquial description for it. I call it the Book of Secrets. And these secrets are now starting to be divulged to people. For me, I opened a door to a completely different world, a mystical world of beings from other dimensions and humans and extraterrestrials of amazing power.
All right, Robert, we've got to take a commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. X-Zone Nation, Robert Brenner is our guest. We're talking about his book that investigates the Bible, looking for supernatural mysteries. It's entitled Supernatural and Strange Happenings in the Bible, an Engineer's Study of Scripture. His website is www.brennerbooks.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X-Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, a guiding light spelled LITE.com to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Robert Brenner is my guest. He is the author of Supernatural and Strange Happenings in the Bible, an engineer's study of Scripture. His website is www.brennerbooks.com. So tell me, during your research or your study of the Bible and looking for the supernatural, were you ever shocked at what you found?
I was elated. I was on a vertical learning curve, and I'm just so excited. The more I studied, the more I researched, the more excited I got, because I was looking at it through the eyes of an engineer, but I was seeing things that were in the Bible that I never saw before in my whole life. And I found 550 verses that dealt with something supernatural or paranormal. And of those, I combined the ones that were repeated in other books of the Bible, ended up with 390 unique incidents, and almost all of them surprised me.
Now, when we look at the Bible, we have to, in my opinion, take that time in history that it was written, what the knowledge of that time in history was, who wrote it, what their motivation for writing whatever it is they wrote was, and how it applies to today. So how can we look at the Bible and say, all right, this was really a supernatural event that happened so many years ago?
Okay, how can we look at that?
Yeah, how do we determine whether it's truly a supernatural event or an event that they just didn't understand, and to them it was mystifying, like they had no knowledge of science, biology, quantum physics, they knew nothing about astronomy. So, they were pretty simple people.
That's right, and they described things in the perception that they had from their perch on a tree. So when they wrote things, they wrote in their version or what they saw. And what I did is I looked at things in the eyes of what I see, and I compared the two, little simple things. And some of the things can be explained, too, like the darkness that during the plagues, when it was dark for 3 days and nobody could see anything. Well, when the USS Carl Vinson was out in the Persian Gulf, and they were over by Yemen, they had a storm come through, a dust storm, and the dust is real tiny particles, and they couldn't see anything. They couldn't take any planes, couldn't fly off the carrier to put everything down below in a hangar deck and just button everything up because it was too dark out there. And a lot of people got ill in the countries around there because of that storm, and that went on for 3 days. So it's something like that happened, and they wrote about in the Bible how they couldn't see anything.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is the Bible a book of fantasy? Is the Bible a book of fact? Did everything, in your opinion, happen as it was written in the Bible? For example, did God create the planet and the heavens and the earth and everything that we know in 7 days?
I believe so.
My
reading, that's correct. I'm not questioning what's in the Bible. I'm trying to identify what's in the Bible and see what I can put together from that and what I can identify as in the articles. Like I wrote the articles for each chapter in the book on power over matter and power over people and so on. Each article I wrote, I wanted to describe what happened, where it happened, when it happened, and who the players were involved. And some of these players are pretty fascinating people. And some of the events in there are pretty fascinating too. Whether they actually happened or not, that I leave to the reader to make a determination. I provide all the information so you can do that.
But if you're providing all the information, aren't you then giving the reader the information that he will require to make the decision? Because your book states, supernatural and strange happenings in the Bible.
Right.
So are you saying that they really happened, or are they conjecture?
What I'm saying is, from what I've read, I believe these things happened. Now, whether someone chooses to believe that or not believe that, that is their choice. But here's the sources of where I got the information. They can read that, they can go through it, they can digest it, they can add to it, and then make their own decision.
When it comes to Noah and the Great Flood, what was your findings on that event?
That was a fascinating